Now, both of you guys come off as nice guys, I would think, right? I mean, give or take. No, I'm just kidding, Brad. But I do think that's part of you're known as the friendly dragon, right? And you're a guy that smiles and you're happy and you got a flower on your guitar. But you're in a business, right? I mean, you are, and that means there's got to be times you say, this manager, nah, that manager. Or you say, nice drummer, dump him, I need another drummer. Or this is a great direction, you know what, I got to shift. How do you get the tough guy in there?
That's a hard part. I mean, I'll start off by saying that the smiling and the flower, that's all kind of a facade, you know? You know? Like, as soon as the cameras are off for this Avenue show of yours, you know. But you know what? Sometimes it's the reality is sometimes you have to move on. You know, it's like sometimes people, you know, at first it was working really well, and then someone's grown or something's changed, and you just have to, I guess, just kind of be as honest as possible. And
do you lie in bed and think I got to fire the drummer?
I don't know. Sometimes I unfortunately do. I Houdini, you know, where you're like one minute you're present, and then the next minute you just like kind of vanish. Yeah.
Well, Brett, you've had, obviously, you've lived longer and you've done a lot of businesses. Right. That a lot of business people will tell me, and I'm sure we'll get the same answer out here. Knowing when to fire somebody and actually firing somebody is some of the hardest things, especially as an entrepreneur when it's your company, there's only 4 of you in the company, is one of the hardest things to do. How do you do it?
Well, it's almost a given that there's someone who's underperforming in an organization of any size. And it is by far the toughest thing to do. I still remember at First Energy when we had to conduct our first firing. There was 4 partners, and 3 of us went in the room. No one of us was willing to take on the task, and we were all just scared, and shaking almost. And the woman that had to be let go, we put a severance package on the table that was probably 5 times what it had to be, and she was delighted. And so it kind of, didn't really like working for us anyway. So it wasn't as bad. But the only other story about being tough, I remember when I was trying out for Dragon's Den, they said the only knock against you when I did my first tryout, they said, first of all, you look better on camera than you do in person. So apparently that's a good thing. And then the second part, though, was you're not mean enough. And I said, look, if you want me to be mean, i.e. in the Kevin O'Leary model, I'm not interested in playing this show. I have just no interest. But if you don't think I know how to be tough when you need to be tough, check with my ex-wife and her divorce lawyer. There's a time and a place to put your foot down. But the reality is that being tough is probably, for me, the hardest part of business.
Yeah, I would think so. Just from knowing both you guys, that would be a challenge.